Good afternoon, everyone. I guess it's 4:30, and this is the History of Pathology Society companion meeting. I'm one of your co-moderators for tonight or this afternoon. I'm Marie-Christine Aubrey from Mayo Clinic, and I'm happy to share my duties with...
Hi, everyone. Roberto Ruiz Cordero. I'm from the University of Miami.
And today our session is about the plagues and its pathogenesis. But before we jump into the body of our main presentation, we would like to kick it off with the presentation of our Azar Award for Best Abstract by a Trainee. And I would like to introduce the current president of our society, Dr. Roberto Barrios, who's also from Houston Methodist. Dr. Barrios.
Thank you, Dr. Aubrey. It's really my pleasure to talk about Dr. Henry Azar. Let's see if I can just move things. Dr. Henry Azar is, he was originally from Egypt. And as you can see, he got a Bachelor of Arts in Syria, and then an MD from the American University of Beirut, internship in New York Hospital, and he served at the U.S. Army and Navy. And he was professor at Columbia, Kansas, South Florida, chief of laboratory medicine, and he got a PhD. And that's why I envy about Dr. Azar. He passed away already, but when he retired, he started a PhD in history. That's very impressive. And I'm thinking that maybe when I'm 89 or 90, I might do the same thing if my chairman allows me. But he was very impressive, and he's the founder of our society. He was amazing. Anyway, so this award bears his name and encouraged the next generation of pathologists, young pathologists, to study people and events to widen our field of pathology. And it is my pleasure to announce that Dr. Albatool AlMahdy was the winner of the Azar Trainee Award. Believe it or not, there were many excellent presentations that we received, a lot of very good papers, but unfortunately, there's only one prize, and she was awarded by, in agreement of the trustees and everybody. So, without further ado, I'm going to let Dr. Albatool present her paper, and we will award her prize later.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Albatool AlMahdy, but you can call me Batool. It's like Batman, in case you just, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you for recognizing my abstract for this award. And thank you to my friends, my attendings. Thank you for everyone who made it today. So I'll be starting off, of course, with a picture of Dr. Sophie Spitz. So who is Dr. Sophie Spitz? So starting a little bit about her, she was born on February 1910 in Nashville, Tennessee, and grew up, you can say, far from what we usually think of today as like a big academic centers. And her early exposure to medicine was actually through her uncle, who was also a pathologist. So she got to see the lab side of medicine early on, and she gravitated towards it. And then she went on to graduate from Vanderbilt University. In 1932, 32, which was a time where only 6% of women went to medicine, if at all they did. And after that, she completed her pathology residency at the New York Infirmary for Women and Children. So this puts her at the intersection of women's health, pediatrics, and pathology. So this is the perfect setting for someone who would later change how we think about melanocytic lesions in children. And by 1941, she landed a position as an attending at Memorial Hospital. And in 1942, she married Dr. Arthur Allen, who was also a fellow pathologist. I have to say, as someone who looks up to Dr. Sophie Spitz, both professionally and personally, marrying a fellow pathologist is on my list too. So, during World War II, she served as a pathologist at the Army Institute of Pathology. And after the war, she became a researcher at the Memorial Sloan Cancer Center. And then she returned to the New York Infirmary until she passed away. And then we start that in 1948, she published her landmark paper, which is Melanomas of Childhood, in the American Journal of Pathology. So before 1948, many of these lesions were diagnosed as melanoma in children. So until Sophie Spitz changed that. What she did was revolutionary because she distinguished juvenile melanomas as benign versus how they were called just malignant melanomas, right? So that was based on clinical behavior because she studied in her paper 13 cases and which looked alarming histologically, as we know, but had an excellent outcome with only one fatal case. So she identified the key histologic features of these lesions, what we know today as Spitz lesions. You know, the large epithelioid and spindle cells, the pink basement membranes, membrane bodies, which we call now caminobodies, and the lack of significant atypia in most of these cases. So this paper was cited over 700 times, and it fundamentally transformed how we diagnose pediatric melanocytic lesions, shifting us from just morphology, which you would just call malignant melanoma, to, you know, behavior trumping histology. And so I think that this paper changed the standard of practice overnight. What she described as juvenile melanomas had deeply worrisome histology, but what made her paper so groundbreaking is that it had a benign clinical course, as we said. But still, this triggered decades of debate in dermatopathology. Were they all benign? Were there some malignant? Is it a spectrum? You know, this controversy is still with us today. And if we fast forward to 1960s, in 1970s, the eponym Spitz Nevus became established in her honor. So recognizing these as benign entities despite their melanoma-like features. And this gray zone between classic Spitz Nevus and malignancy is still there that kept pathologists, and I think still keeps us awake at night. But interestingly, the term Spitz Nevus was not used right away. It was officially established in 1967 by the pathology committee of the Queensland Melanoma Project in Australia. So they chose it specifically to honor Dr. Spitz, who had passed away a decade earlier. It was their way of recognizing her foundational work on the lesions. And in 1969, pathologists were already facing the limits of her original concept. They coined a typical Spitz tumor for those cases where you were just not sure, is it Spitz Nevus, is it melanoma? And this term captured the diagnostic uncertainty that Spitz's work had revealed. You know, some of the lesions still sat in the worrisome middle between benign and malignant. And that uncertainty evolved into tools that we're using today. And the caminobodies, what we know today, Dr. Hideko Kamino in 1979 and her colleagues, they formally recognized those PAs positive, diastase-resistant pink globules that we often see, and that was recognized as a helpful histological clue, favoring Spitz over melanomas even though it's not 100% specific. And when you spot them above the dermis, it should make you kind of think of Spitz. So the refinements kind of helped, but the diagnostic challenges persisted into the molecular era. And in 1999 or early 2000s, the researchers identified the first molecular hallmark of Spitz Nevus, which is a copy number gains of chromosome 11p, particularly involving HRAS gene. And here's the kicker, that HRAS gene mutations are frequent in Spitz nevi, but absent in spitzoid melanomas. So finding the HRAS mutations help pathologists say with confidence, oh, okay, yeah, that's benign. So every case in this study here has behaved benignly, and every case that showed, HRAS mutation. So all HRAS mutated Spitz tumor were benign. Even for Spitz tumors of unknown malignant potential, what we call STUMP. So this was a major step forward, but only explains a subset of the cases, right? And then in 2009, pathologists described the Spark Nevus. So Spark Nevus is a hybrid of Spitz and Clark. The other name for Clark is dysplastic nevus, which we call every day dysplastic nevus, but to call something Spark, it's cooler to say Spitz and Clark, right? So this expanded the morphologic and biologic spectrum of Spitz tumors, recognizing that some nevi don't really fit into one box, right? It can be asymmetric, trunk-based, atypical, even dermoscopically, but they would behave benignly. It's not officially yet in the WHO. We're trying to put it there. We're pushing it there. I'm working on it. And, Spark nevi still remind us that Spitz's legacy is still unfolding. And in 2014, Dr. Wisner and colleagues dropped a bombshell that around 50% of Spitz neoplasms harbor distinctive kinase fusions. So the ALK, the NTRK, ROS, RET, and many others. So these fusions are specific to Spitz, and they refine risk stratification. They open doors to targeted therapies for the rare malignant ones. And the ALK fusions especially correlate with younger patients and excellent prognosis. And here's a picture of that. And in 2022, so the WHO recognized in the 5th edition a Spitz melanocytoma, which we call also a typical Spitz tumor. So this integrates three things: the molecular profile, like the kinase fusions I showed you, the histologic features, and clinical behavior, so not just morphology alone. They can occur anywhere in the body, can be atypical, a little bit larger. You can see a bit more atypia, mitosis, concerning features, but still indolent course. So this category, I think, gives us the language to communicate risk honestly. So this isn't benign, but it's not melanoma, it's intermediate. So this guides management without unnecessary aggressive treatment. And this is, I have 59 seconds, I'll have to read it. So from 1948 to 2022, Spitz observation, as you can tell, has evolved from a clinical paradox. You know, how it looks very worrisome, yet it has a benign course, into a nuanced, molecularly informed framework that we know today. So why do we spend time to study history? For three big reasons. First of all, I think it informs modern practice. It avoids the diagnostic pitfalls. Her 1948 classified juvenile melanomas as benign. They were called melanomas, right? Juvenile melanomas. So that prevented overtreatment in children. And second, it highlights pioneers. So women like Sophie Spitz thrived despite massive barriers. Only 6% of physicians were females back then. So her history reminds us of what's possible. And it guides innovation. And today's molecular advances like the HRAS mutations, the kinase fusions, they build directly on her histologic insights that we learned about 75 years ago. And yeah, so she did not just name a nevus. I think she taught us to look beyond the microscope to clinical behavior as pathologists, to context, to the whole patient. And this is a sneak peek to my poster. Please come. It's going to be on Monday. And thank you very much. Finally, none of this work, past or present, is possible without mentorship or community support. Thank you to everyone who's here. I'd like to thank my mentors who have guided me through this, my inspiring mentors, Dr. Jabalino, Dr. Wayne Duke, and to the attendees, my wonderful colleagues who helped me put this together, Dina Reyes and Wala Ahmed. Thank you to the attendees. Thank you for the History of Pathology Society for recognizing my abstract. Thank you very much.
Any questions so far? Any questions about Dr. Spitz?
I have one question, Dr. AlMahdy. When you were researching Dr. Spitz, is there anything you came across her life except wanting to marry a fellow pathologist that you related to and that kind of inspired you since you're a young, aspiring trainee to become a consultant? And
Thank you. Well, I thought about it that she ended up training and researching in Memorial Sloan Kettering. So I ended up applying there. So I'll be doing my second fellowship over there and maybe carry on her legacy.
excellent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Do you want to talk?
No, go ahead.
Any other questions? Then with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Barrios.
Well, it's my pleasure to
Thank you. It's mine too.
check.